John, take us back to 2001. Tell us what our theme is.
Yeah, back to 2001. The theme is 6 down, 1 to go, and that's a reference to an interview that General Wesley Clark gave to Democracy Now! I'm not sure when the interview was, but what he's doing is he's recalling, an experience he had on September 20th after 9/11 when a general in the Joint Chiefs said, "Hey, we're gonna invade Iraq." And then he comes back a few weeks later, and the general's got some news for him. So let's pick up there, and I'll roll the clip of Wesley Clark relaying his experience shortly after 9/11.
I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today. And he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
Okay, so 6 down refers to the fact that six of those countries have been taken over, reduced to rubble. And so I want to look at a map real quick and see the countries he's referring to. I think it helps to visualize this because the 1 to go is Iran.
Right.
It would have been 5 to go, but Syria was basically bum rushed this week. Assad has left, the regime is gone. Now it's number 6. So let's look at the map and look at the countries that Clark mentioned. Interesting. So Iraq was number 1. There you go. Then Syria. Syria has just fallen, and that is Syria's right is Iraq's neighbor to the west. Then you got Lebanon, right? That is
Right.
that sliver here. Then Libya. Libya is maybe not
Over to the
shown.
left of Egypt.
It's
Yeah.
to the left of Egypt. It's not labeled. Somalia, which is here, and then you got Sudan, which is here, and Iran, which is here. So now, with Iran, you got that. You get Lebanon has been reduced to rubble pretty much. You're at Iraq. It's basically the sluice gate is now open for Iran, and I think
Right.
Iran may be the crown jewel out of those 7.
Right. It's definitely the crown jewel. And I think the big question is it's clear a deal was made before the move to systematically not just invade Syria, but destroy Syria is what's been happening. So I think a deal was made with the Russians, and the question is, did the deal include Iran or not? I don't know.
I agree with that, and the term. So I can't imagine that a deal is made that doesn't involve Ukraine.
Oh, absolutely. So I think the deal was we can do whatever we want in the Middle East. And you can have the Ukraine, and,
Nope.
so you take the Donbass and you take what you want of Ukraine. We make a deal on Ukraine acceptable to you, but we can do whatever we want in the Middle East. And the 2 big questions are, the Russians haven't moved out of their base, their naval base. They have a couple bases in Syria, and those bases are critical to everything they're doing in Africa. And we know, the dollar syndicate's not pleased with their encroachment in Africa. So the question is, what will happen to the Russian naval bases and their presence in Africa? But then, did the deal include Iran? And if Russia stands down on Iran, then Iran becomes part of greater Israel.
This looks like Putin made a deal.
Hmm.
Remember, let's back up. Syria is having fits with ISIS, aka the CIA and the USA and Israel back in 2015. They invite Russia to come to Syria, invite Russian military to come to Syria, and lo and behold, the ISIS problem pretty much vanishes. But slowly but surely over the last few years, you get more of these stories about Israel bombed here and in Syria and ISIS there. And it's like, well, what happened to Russia? And then all of a sudden, Russia's gone and there's a collapse.
Right. Right. So, also, if you look at the interviews that Lavrov has done, so he did an interview with Tucker Carlson and he did an interview with Al Jazeera. And if you look at his demeanor and what he's saying, it sounds to me like there's a deal.